It is January 14th in the year 2022. And you know, the more I say it, the weirder it sounds. It's 2022. Why am I so low on the screen? There we go. We are living in the future, folks. And this is the Wrestling Inc. podcast, Friday night edition. SmackDown, Rampage, things happened, wrestling, feuds, promos, stories. Concluded? No. Built? Sure. Continued? Definitely. And here we are to talk about it all. I'm Glenn Rubenstien, joined by Alfred Konuwa and NYC Demon Diva Issa, who we had that epic birthday stream. I'm still thinking about the birthday stream from earlier in the week. And we're here tonight to be your Friday night date in the world of wrestling. Welcome.
We're taking you to Applebee's.
Yeah, send in a text. What you doing? Want to talk
WID. WID chat.
You up?
You up? Because I got theories. I got theories about Lita versus Charlotte and where this is all going to build.
Oh,
I want to talk about what's happening with the Dark Order. How every time now I see Christian, I feel bad for Marco Stunt.
Yeah,
He went there, huh? He went there.
Unfortunately,
Like,
pray for Marco
about it. Like, at least in kayfabe, make it seem. I know Christian has a career, but at least in kayfabe, make it seem like Christian's like the Stefan Urkel version of Marco Stunt or something. You know, he stepped into a machine and out came Christian.
that wouldn't be too bad.
No, it wouldn't actually. No, it wouldn't.
Yeah. I was thinking about it tonight when Jurassic Express got their win, and I was like, remember, like Luchasaurus used to give him piggyback rides? Like, it was adorable.
Yeah, you can't do that with Christian. I mean, I'm sure they could, but it would look ridiculous.
They should 100% do that with Christian.
Oh yeah.
With the kazoo.
Definitely.
Christian has to have the kazoo in his mouth, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk about the news before we dive into the wrestling.
Let's get into the news. Very encouraging, if not a little bizarre news. Jon Moxley is making his in-ring return, but not with AEW. He is returning to GCW to defend the GCW championship, where he is the heavyweight champion on January 23rd, which is shaping up to be a very, very good card. He's facing Homicide, the legendary Homicide, on January 23rd at GCW. So Moxley looks like he's testing the waters a little bit, maybe going to an independent promotion to, maybe knock off the ring rust or whatnot. But I did find that a little odd that he's not going right back in AEW. But if you think about it, given what he's gone through, I think the last thing he should do in terms of coming back is coming back and going on the road immediately. Maybe this is just him easing his way back into wrestling, Issa.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's awesome news that he's coming back and he's going to be GCW. It's going to give him such a hype. And I think a lot of people are going to tune into this show because it is, like you said, an excellent card. And a lot of people are hyped up for it. But now you add Jon Moxley to the card, which we haven't seen in so long. So many people supporting him and the journey that he's on right now. I think it's a winning combination. Let's see what he looks like and then let him slowly come back to AEW when he's ready for it. AEW right now has their plate full. They have a couple of good storylines. So if Moxley needs a little extra time, that's okay.
Yeah. I think it'll be good to see him back. It's weird seeing him back in those Shield clips tonight on WWE.
Yeah, it's weird because I was thinking about him because they showed him there. And then this story came out a little bit after. And so it's it's all coming together.
I was wondering if they were going to Photoshop him off the Shield clips for the video packages.
Me too. But some of them seem like they went out of their way to show him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble coming up. You know.
Forbidden Door.
I mean, just saying.
Issa's out here still rumors.
Probably not happening.
Well, what might be happening, Glenn, is a name change to the Elimination Chamber. Per Dave Meltzer, the Elimination Chamber could be called the WrestleMania Chamber. Do you think that's a good idea, Glenn?
Why don't they just call it the Wrestle Chamber or the Mania Chamber, the Chamber of Mania? But WrestleMania Chamber is terrible. I mean, Elimination Chamber is a bad name for reasons we're not going to get into. But WrestleMania Chamber sounds dumb. It's like taking a bad name and making it worse. Why not Elimination Zone? Elimination. What are some synonyms for chamber? Why are they stuck on chamber? Isn't that a weird, you don't hear chamber. Oh, here we go. How about the Elimination Boudoir? Think about that. Elimination Hall. Elimination Auditorium. Okay, that's a little mouthy, but I think we could do better. I like the Elimination Hall actually, or the Elimination Room. But yeah, I think actually Boudoir, the Elimination Boudoir, WWE. There, I solved your problems.
I think you could beat that. Issa, I saw you facepalm. You hate this idea too?
Yes, I should have read the news. You sent the email and I didn't click. I wish I was prepared for this, but I am not. Took me back to WrestleMania Backlash. Remember that stupid pay-per-view WrestleMania Backlash? Like, stop putting WrestleMania in front of everything. But then again, we do know the location of the Elimination Chamber, and they like to make believe pay-per-views for them. So they're going to go over there and be like, look, we're going to give you this WrestleMania Chamber. But if the Elimination Chamber name is now available, I would love to have it for a horror film. So great.
Well, there you go.
The Elimination Cubicle. I mean, I think there's a lot we could do.
I like the Elimination Cubicle. There you go. And then they fight in their street clothes at work.
Yeah, or they can even make it the Elimination Cube if Cubicle is a little too cutesy. Elimination Cube. And we could do a lot with this. I think it would work.
This does remind me of the WrestleMania Backlash idea, though, that they're just trying to take the name WrestleMania, probably for Google searches or for whatever, so that they can add it to something else. But yeah, WrestleMania Chamber is just a mouthful, and Boudoir is just I think that's better.
It sounds classy, which I think is sorely lacking from WWE programming and pay-per-views.
Well, somebody else who's lacking, Glenn, you've just been saying things that are very easy to transition to. It's like we've practiced this. Something else that is lacking, Glenn, is Bayley from WWE TV over the past several months. But now there are rumors that, of course, she's going to come back. A lot of people expecting her back for the Royal Rumble. But according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, she will probably be back in February or March. Do you still think, because Glenn, you did say that Bayley would probably win the Royal Rumble as a surprise, and I am actually on board with that, and I'm still going to stick to that. Are you still sticking to your guns with Bayley winning the Royal Rumble?
If the story came out from WWE saying she's expected back in February or March, if they leaked this like they do Fast Nationals, and Vince is furiously texting people, mark my words, she is at the Royal Rumble. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. This is a misdirect. It's a shiny object. You think, oh, well, she couldn't be there. She's not going to be cleared to February or March. You stupid Mark. This is what they're doing to pop you because they don't want you to think she's going to show up, but she's going to show up.
I wouldn't know anything about the Fast Nationals, but I hear they come from the streets. Issa, do you think Bayley's going to be at the Royal Rumble?
I would love to see Bayley at the Royal Rumble, but I also want to see her healthy. I do think that up to recently we could still see her with the brace or walking with the support. But you never know if there's just extending that just so she's fully healthy. I just hear myself. Sorry. Oh no.
This is like Bayley. Like,
I was echoing, like literally echoing. I'm sorry. I was gonna say I would love to see Bayley win the Rumble because I think that's the one thing that she hasn't done. She's done everything else, Money in the Bank, all of the titles. So just adding the Royal Rumble just to tie up that bow, that would be amazing for her.
Have Bayley come to the ring on a rascal scooter, go in there, and she doesn't have to take any bumps. Just have her toss some women out and she wins. And a rascal scooter, that's a gimmick. I mean, Enzo made that work in NXT. I think Bayley could get that massively over.
Glenn, do you have some ice cream tonight?
I did not. Why?
I'm just wondering because you have some wild ideas. So I just.
I had vegan Chinese food tonight. I had vegan Mongolian beef. It was lovely. It was not too spicy. It's a good evening as I sat on Twitter doing some mental math about a big event happening tomorrow that I'm really looking forward to.
Wow.
Me too.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I know what you're talking
about.
about.
We
Season
won't
finale.
talk about it.
We don't talk about it. We'll stay on brand. But Bayley, you do bring up a good point, Glenn, in that if she's injured, okay, so if she's planning to come back in February, I don't want to rush her back. She knows her body, and WWE, the doctors will know her body and stuff like that. But the Royal Rumble can disguise an injury, just like a tag team match where you hide somebody when they're not quite ready to come back. You could be very limited in a Royal Rumble, maybe still injured and still win it, come in at the end, like you said, which would be the move anyway if she was fully healthy. So, yeah, I hope she comes back in January for the Royal Rumble, but if not...
And by the way, if she doesn't come back at the Rumble, it's because they have another plan for her, and I could see her coming back the night after the Rumble. I could see her coming back and getting immediately into an angle with any of the top women's stars.
Well,
if the plan for Bayley is to not win the Rumble, or if she's not ready, then there's still a champion that will not be picked, right? The Royal Rumble winner is going to pick the Raw or SmackDown champion. You still have room for Bayley later on.
Yeah.
Maybe she can come back at the Elimination Boudoir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, if pay-per-views were actually still on pay-per-view, if I'm, a younger
Premium
man,
live events, Glenn. Premium live
well,
events.
if I'm a younger man and I'm scrolling, the cable guide and I see what's on channel, 966, the Elimination Boudoir. That sounds titillating. I'm gonna flip to that and try and watch some blurred pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. That's the way that'll get the kids back into it. The younger audience and the teens. That's how they're gonna get back into this.
Kids these days
you can
don't know
probably
the pain.
get your date to watch wrestling if you be like, would you like to watch the Elimination Boudoir? And your date is like, ooh, yes. And then you turn on wrestling and they're like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
Okay,
Is this some kind of trap?
idea.
These women in a cage?
I've got a new idea. We need we need softcore professional wrestling. Now, don't put your head. Don't go thinking what you're thinking. I'm talking. It's less violent.
We got Rampage, Glenn.
Yeah,
we got
softcore. It's just a little less violent, a little less explicit, and it's purposefully made for couples to enjoy together to enhance their evening.
SPW, softcore professional wrestling. Very interesting. If it's made for if it's made for couples, I think there's another word for it that I accidentally said. But let's get to our final story of the night. We're talking about Bayley and whatnot, people coming back. It looks like tentative WrestleMania plans have been set. Now, these, of course, can always change. We're a few months out for WrestleMania. But the original plans were Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, of course, but for the Universal title. Seth Rollins defending the WWE title against either Big E, Bobby Lashley, or Kevin Owens. On the women's side, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair, although that seems like it could change because Sasha is going to be out for 6 to 9 weeks, it looks like, with that injury. And then Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch seems pretty solid. It seems like, watching Raw, you can see they're building that direction for WrestleMania long term. But what do you guys think about the possibility? Because this actually came up on your birthday stream, Issa, of Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, but it's not going to be title for title. Are you okay with that?
I just want them away from each other. I want them to be friends. I don't want them to fight anymore.
So, like, Paul Heyman manages them both, and they go for the tag team gold. That's you think the
against the Usos? Come on now.
Ooh,
that would actually be good. Listen, I mean, I kind of knew that's the direction that they were going. I don't know. With Roman coming back 5 days later from COVID, it almost feels unnecessary to have had Brock win the WWE title, right?
Yes.
That's just my opinion. It's just like Roman was back a week later. Why not give Brock an exhibition match that night for the fans and keep the plans going the way they should have? Now it feels like we got to take some detours that we didn't need to take because this wasn't a long-term thing. It's like creating an interim belt when Cody Rhodes is coming back next week. Like, I don't understand why we're going out of the way where we can just say, hey, this person got COVID. Sorry. I feel like we've been dealing with this long enough that people would understand.
Plus, it's a fatal 5-way. You could have easily, especially if the plan was to go to Brock versus Bobby, you could have done that without the title and have them killing each other. And the story is they eliminated each other from that match.
But that wasn't the plan. The plan was Brock and Roman to continue. You know what I mean? Brock was never a part of that. That you could have done what they were doing, which was Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens completely taking him out, Bobby Lashley taking him out. You would have bought that if all 4 guys ganged up on Brock and then they go and finish their match. You know what I mean? So it just feels like if that was the direction, nothing really needed to change. Yeah. You could have either wrote him off the match by having everybody gang up on him, or somebody sneak the pin while he's out, getting beat up. I don't know. It just feels like a lot of unnecessary changes are being made when people are not really out for that long.
Yeah. They need to blow some things up at the Royal Rumble and make these storylines seem fresh and interesting. Because right now, there were some good moments tonight on SmackDown, but I feel like we've gone from sameness to subpar sameness in some ways. I don't know. I mean, I just feel that a lot is missing. But I am thinking that back to a previous topic, that people like to talk about being the hardcore champion. I think the softcore champion is a gimmick and a half. Let's get Dolph Ziggler like in a Rick Rude type gimmick, and he could say like, some of these guys work strong. I work soft with a gentle touch.
His secret weapon is a pillow.
Yes, the softcore champion. This writes itself.
Let's go.
This is ratings.
Wendy Shu will be your first women's champion.
Yeah, it doesn't get any softer than that. You can bring back that crash pad we saw earlier tonight, and
insane, baby.
Yeah.
Yes. Any other news stories?
My God.
No other news stories.
Okay, I got one of the super chats to get to after the Stellar Justin Lopez $4.99. My man Justin, you read those names, and there's no title match with Seth that's interesting right now, or is WrestleMania worthy? Just do Roman and Brock title for title. I worry about them unifying because look at Rampage tonight. Now, I understand that the Friday night best friends, Adam Cole, Undisputed Era storyline, like that's just not a Friday thing, right? They're wrestling on Wednesdays also. Like we're seeing the same matches and storylines Wednesdays and Fridays. If we unify titles, it's going back to that in WWE, and that will make things even worse.
Sure. And I don't think it has to be a title unification scenario. It could be title for title. And then for maybe a couple of months, somebody has both titles and then they get beat for one of them or whatnot. But the fact that they had Brock and Roman and they're both champions right now, so close to WrestleMania, that is a money match. And I think all the times we've seen Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, this is one of the things that'll make it different. In addition to, of course, Roman being a new character, Brock being a new character, you put the titles in there, it feels like a WrestleMania main event. And to just do this kind of like Issa was saying earlier and then kind of backtrack, I think is very sloppy of them.
Yeah, when Becky Lynch won the 2 belts, she lost the one right immediately at the next pay-per-view. Keith Lee in NXT won the 2 belts. He relinquished one. So there are ways that we can play around, and if we want to make this a title versus title.
Yeah. Or we have one champion that goes between 2 shows for a while. That could be interesting.
I mean, Roman Reigns on Mondays and Fridays. Please.
Yes. They're going to need him this Monday when they're going up against a playoff game.
Yeah. Terry Allen Jr. 276 saying, any Shad Gaspard memories? Love their theme song.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Shad Gaspard was very talented in terms of like a big man when they were with Crime Time as a team. I know people have the reservations, and it does not age well, and it's not necessarily a great way to present black people on TV. You've heard it all, but they're a very entertaining tag team, and their promos were really good too. They are kind of like a prelude to the type of promos we see from the Usos in the New Day, where it's like this mixture between hip hop and talking. I think they kind of revolutionized that. So I thought they were a very fun act to watch. And they got over. If you watch Crime Time matches back, they definitely got over with crowds.
Yeah, they did. I definitely love the video that roamed around the internet of him and MVP watching Kofi Kingston win the WWE title. I know that's not a memory of him in the ring, but just seeing how much that moment meant to them, it was just very special.
Yeah. I have to say, I mean, one of the most moving moments on this podcast was Matt Morgan eulogizing Shad after he passed away. God, I can't believe it's already been so long, almost 2 years now. And if you've never seen that episode, I mean, Matt had some great stories, and it was so touching, just his memories. So yeah, I mean, that's what I always think of. That really changed my perception. It's definitely been the prevailing thought. We got Steve Marcuccioli, $4.99. Any chance Jericho or Tessa Blanchard work the Rumble? I guess my question to you, Alfred, which one of those is less likely?
That's a good question. I think Tessa Blanchard is actually less likely, to be honest. Like, I really do think there is a universe where Chris Jericho shows up at the Royal Rumble. If this Forbidden Door talk,
Me too.
I don't think they're going to go for Tessa Blanchard could be likely because of how thin the women are, but they've already announced 20 of them, and I see a very limited amount of surprises. But I'm not saying Tessa Blanchard is not likely. I still actually think she's likely to appear in the Royal Rumble. But
really,
I could see Chris Jericho. There's a lot that surrounds Tessa Blanchard, as we know, that maybe WWE wouldn't want to be involved with because they don't like any type of drama or anything. And I could just see, just because we saw the president with the Broken Skull sessions where he appeared on that podcast, who knows? It's again, highly unlikely probably, but the whole universe is open for this Royal Rumble. I think anybody except an MLW superstar will appear in the Royal Rumble. And almost the whole wrestling universe is open to me.
Okay, but the real question is, if Jericho shows up, do you want to hear Break the Walls Down or would you like him to show up using Judas? I think break the walls down, because we hear Judas every week now, and I think break the walls down will be nostalgic, and it would just take us back to Y2J. I think it would be epic if he shows up with his old song. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be Y2J break the walls down. If you're in the WWE arena, AEW is hot and stuff like that. But in the WWE crowd with an arena that big, a lot of them are not going to know Judas. They're just not. I think they will. There's going to be hardcore fans, and hardcore fans predominantly watch the product. But in terms of attending these live events, it's a lot of families. It's a lot of people who do watch WWE. And I would say you would get a pop for Judas. And I think more people than not would know Judas. But the Y2J song would produce a pop from the entire arena. And I think that's what WWE go for.
Hear me out. The lights go off. We get the countdown. We see the jacket shining, but we get another play out by MJF, like he did an all-out, and it's MJF who shows up at the Rumble, who has been talking about WWE wanting him. If there's a forbidden door to be knocked down, I get that nostalgia is a beautiful thing. I would love to see somebody that we have never seen in WWE. No Daniel Bryan, no CM Punk. I want to see MJF, Adam Page. Like, if you're going to do it, let's go all in with it.
Yeah, but I think the thing with Mickie James though happens because they don't see Impact as even an afterthought of competition anymore. You know, I think that they see Impact maybe like a better version of the deal they had with, what was it, Evolve? Is this still going on, by the way? I feel like that was going, and then the pandemic happened, and then we never heard anything about that again.
They might be on hiatus, but I thought they were having a show, but I'm not sure now.
Yeah, it's weird. I could see 205 Live. That's the thing. I mean,
no, they're not. They're not around.
Yeah, 205 Live. I could see becoming. You know, I mean, we talked about this. I think they could do something with Impact. They could do something with Evolve. They could do something with NWA even. But I don't think with AEW. I mean, like, come on, like, I don't think there's even going to be the spirit of friendly competition. It just makes no sense at this point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Tony Khan, it's something that, if WWE comes and asks and you work out a deal or whatnot, I mean, it'd be great press for AEW if they are willing to mention that on their television. But, I mean, I don't expect it to happen. But, you know, WrestleMania did say that they are considering having a Forbidden Door entrant. And that could be one of a number of names. And that can mean a lot of things. You know, it doesn't necessarily just mean AEW. But
no, it means Braun Strowman or someone that's at Impact that basically WWE wants to work with again, but at a greatly reduced rate.
Right. I could see that. It could be something like that.
I mean, I think it's gonna be like when they brought Ellsworth back or whatever. You know, I mean, I think they're gonna. I don't think it's gonna be as groundbreaking as AEW. I just don't. So I guess we should cover the shows.
Wait, don't kill the moment, Glenn. We were having fun fantasy booking.
No, there.
I save all my crazy speculation for our other podcast now.
Yeah, we won't talk about it. We'll stay on brand. It's nothing to do with the color yellow.
Tomorrow night,
either.
Tomorrow night, 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific.
Yes.
We're live on YouTube talking about the finale. Alfred, will you be joining us for the live?
I will
reaction?
jump on. I will be joining you. Yes.
And then Sunday, we're doing full coverage of the finale. So it's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Looking forward to it. Okay, so tonight.
I have a cute dress for the 1 a.m. show. Okay, that's all.
Awesome. So we were in Omaha, Nebraska tonight.
Omaha, acknowledge me.
Usos cutting this promo on New Day, the tag division. We have Los Lotharios come out. We have the Viking Raiders come out. We have Mansoor and Cesaro come out. We have Jinder and Shanky. Alfred, what did you think of the Usos promo tonight?
I thought the Usos were good, not only for their promos, but on commentary, they're great too. Them and Pat McAfee have a lot of chemistry together. I think they did a good job, especially because there were so many people in the booth. You figured that they would step all over each other, but I liked the Usos tonight. And it's funny because we were talking about this fantasy booking scenario of Brock and Roman versus Usos, and I think that's exactly what the Usos could use, because it feels like they kept running it back with the New Day, and now they're finally building a new challenger in the Viking Raiders. But the Usos feel like they've cleaned out this division. They feel like really dominant champions where I can't really get up from many of their matches because it doesn't have that blockbuster quality. So Viking Raiders, I guess it's good, but we just saw them losing to Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin last week, I believe. So the match was fine. I like the tease of what was it? The Cesaro swing on Ivar. He was gonna pull it off. I thought that was gonna be the best part.
He wasn't gonna pull it off. They killed that because he was not gonna be able to pull it off.
I thought he might have been able to, and they didn't let
He
him.
could have pulled it off. How much do you think Ivar weighs? Like, he's picked up some heavy dudes on
He
that.
could have pulled off.
He did it to Kali.
Could have pulled his back doing that. Gravity was not. You saw him like leaning back. Go to the replay there. It's like, no offense to my heavyset brethren, but Cesaro was going to be out of action with a herniated disc if he had done that swing.
I believe in Cesaro. I believe in Cesaro. He was gonna pull it off. I thought this was an odd choice to start the show, just because the tag team division just hasn't felt hot, because you've been, obviously, like Alfred said, running the New Days and the Usos to the ground, to where the tag team division doesn't feel like it even matters on SmackDown. So to get people's attention and to keep them tuned in, I really did think this was a weird start to the show. I thought there was other things that they could start, and this felt more middle of the show material. That being said, it's good to see them trying to move away from the New Days and the Usos and maybe start building different things, because I'm hoping that they realize that they can't do that match again for a while.
Yeah, we'll see.
Not a good showing for Shanky either. I felt like I don't think it was a fault of his, but this is a monster, and he was bumping all over the place, and they didn't really promote him as this big monster where he tagged in and he's just this dominant guy. He just felt like a 5'10" person in a 7-footer's body.
Do you think Shanky knows where Veer went? Because he's no longer coming.
Shanky will never have a good showing as long as they're referring to him as Shanky. That's just not like.
What do you think about when you hear the word Shanky, Glenn? What do you think about?
It rhymes with Spanky. It rhymes with Stanky. So right there, that's two. That's two.
What about you, Alfred?
Do the stinky leg. Do the stinky leg. Hey, the GS Boys, very underrated wedding song, the stinky leg.
So am I the only one who thinks of prisons and shanks and all that?
Sure.
Oh, Shanky. Okay, yeah.
Sure, but Shank, better name. Shaky, better name.
Like, if I was in jail, I would name my shank Shanky just to be cute.
Issa's got plans. But think about this. You're never going to hear in the main event of WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar versus Shanky. Like, and that's how you have to think about it.
That sounds ridiculous.
That's how you have to think about wrestling names. If you're a wrestler out there, and I know wrestlers watch this show, think about your name being announced, as the main event at Madison Square Garden, the main event at WrestleMania. And if it sounds ridiculous, is a bad name. You got to work to change it, clean that up, and get something that pops on a marquee. That pops out of.
What would you name Shanky if you had the opportunity? If you were his business manager and you had the opportunity to rename him, what would you name him?
Okay, well, his name is Dilsher Shanky. I mean, Sheer would be good if you wanted to go with that. Maybe change the pronunciation. Let's see. Oh, wait. His ring name is Dilsher Shanky, correct? Yeah. So his birth name is Gurvinder Singh Malhotra. He could do more. But with Dilsher,
that's how they should announce it.
Yeah. Gurvinder.
You know what they should do? What they did with The Rock? Call him the Shank. He's the Shank. Just
the
like
Shank.
Like Rocky went from Rocky to The Rock, he can be the Shank, and then you can do all kinds of stuff with that.
Trevor Smith saying the Big Shank. Yeah, actually, Big Shank is pretty bad too, because it sounds like Big Skank or Big Stank. Like, really, we gotta this was chosen. This name was chosen. This wasn't like, well, it's his real name and we got to work with it. Well, it was a nickname. We got to work with it. It's like he chose this name. Or WWE.
Yeah, but a lot of times they also give them like 3 options and they're all kind of crappy. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times if they can't pick a name, WWE will like put a paper in front of you with like really worse names and he'll be like, I'll just go with Shanky.
So what were the 2 other names? Was it like Button Willow McKittrick and I don't know, Lamore Hamford. I'm just naming exits on the 5 freeway now. But no, like how bad were those other 2 names that Shanky was like, that's the one?
I would love to get a list. I wish every wrestler, when they get released, would release a list of names that they were choosing from. Because sometimes I think that too is like, if you went with Shanky, what did they skip out?
And that's the point with all of this. Shanky, Mr. Shank. I would like to point out that I think you are talented. I think you have a good look. This name is the albatross around your neck that will diminish your potential for your entire career in WWE. And I'm sorry. I'm legitimately sorry this was done to you because you deserve better.
Friend of the show, Heather Abood
Wow.
says the Shawshanky Redemption. That'd be a fun name. Might be a copyright issue, but
Shawshank is a better name.
oh, I like that actually. Just Shawshank.
We could shorten it to Shaw. I don't know. It's unfortunate, man. So we had this match. Viking Raiders won. They're the new number one contenders. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly.
More character development between Sonya Deville and Naomi tonight.
Naomi's outfit was fire.
Yeah, look great.
Do we have to
I
keep
love that
this
outfit.
going 3 more months until Naomi gets to whoop Sonya's ass?
Glenn, I know you've been watching wrestling for a long time, so you might have heard this before, but you have to let it play out, man. You have to let it play.
It can play out too long. It can play out too long.
They did. They picked this too early, and the fact that we're asking this, I think, is an indictment on the booking of the storyline because they have Sonya and Naomi are very good performers. They've been good in this storyline, but I think they overplayed their hand in beating Naomi to where I feel like they've gone past the point of you really want to see Sonya Deville get beaten up. And now you're starting to just kind of question, like, even tonight, like Naomi's given another chance. She's like, yes. And it's like, man, by this point, you should be as cynical as possible. Like, no, forget all that. Like, we either have a match or I quit or something drastic.
Yeah.
Like, Naomi should not be this gullible, I don't think.
In addition to that, I want to know, what did Sonya say? Did she say, when I don't have my suit on? But did she mean suit jacket? Because today there seemed to be a gray area.
Yeah.
So what, like, if it's just the jacket, then she just needs to have the jacket stolen when Sonya takes it off.
And if that's what it comes down to, that's going to be so silly, but I'll take it. But when she came into the room and it was no jacket time, when Sonya had the jacket off, Adam Pearce had the jacket off, I thought it was going to be go time.
It's not no jacket time, it's jacket off time.
Jacket off time. Don't never forget.
Let's really not call it that ever again.
That's what they call it, though.
Yes. So I want this match to happen. I want Naomi to get every great thing coming to her, but this does not need to be.
Do you think it goes all the way to WrestleMania?
Yeah, what they're doing is like splitting The Hobbit into 3 movies. Like, this is just ridiculous. We don't need the story dragged out this long. Divergent didn't need part 3 as 2 movies. The Hunger Games didn't need part 3 as 2 movies. Harry Potter, maybe it did.
Yes,
but
it did.
Yes, but with the rest of these,
you leave Hunger Games out of this.
First off, here's my problem with the Hunger Games. After the second one, there were no Hunger Games anymore. It's the name of the movie. It's the name of the franchise.
There was never Hunger Games. Nobody was hungry. People were eating.
No, it was the symbolic hunger. It was symbolic.
I know.
I'm looking forward if they do the prequels and go to the past Hunger Games. Now, why did we never get a Hunger Games video game with like teenagers murdering each other in Battle World?
Glenn, like, what makes you think this is a good idea?
It'd be like Fortnite, but with blood. I don't know. It just seems strange to me. But no, look, not everything needs to be an epic. And you know what this is doing? This is hurting Naomi in the long run because, yes, she's going to get that payoff. But if we've already lost interest, lost that investment, what worries me is she's not going to go anywhere after she gets that victory over Sonya. If she'd won over Sonya, like at Survivor Series or at any time in the past, and then she used that to launch to something else or a championship opportunity, that would be something. But I have a feeling this is going to just sort of keep putting along. She's going to win, and then they're not going to have anything for her. And I think that's going to hurt her even more in the long run.
Yeah. Another thing, just to be like opposite side of Alfred, is like she should either be cynical, as in I'm gonna kick Sonya's ass or I'm gonna quit, or B, why should she care about Sonya? She's getting a title shot. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, well, why bother with you when I can just go around you and still get to the top of the line, you know? So I don't know. The story just is not making sense to me. I have a feeling they're gonna extend it to WrestleMania. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Naomi's in the Rumble and either Sonya not entering eliminates her because, you know, they allow that for some reason, or B, Sonya contract someone to eliminate her, like a Shayna Baszler, who, I don't know, we're gonna have to call 911 and report her missing too, because I don't know where she's been.
I think Sonya needs to get Mustafa Ali, the hacker, to get some footage of Sonya saying some things behind closed doors and file a lawsuit against WWE. That should be the Naomi storyline at this point. Naomi going after Sonya Deville.
That hacker storyline had promise for like a week, man. It really did.
They could have done something with that, but they
could
pretty much dropped it, really. But if they want me to feel sorry for Naomi, they need, and to feel that she's being wronged, which is the story, she needs to be winning. WWE is so bad at booking baby faces. She needs to be winning these matches, yet still getting screwed to where I feel like, well, she keeps winning. How come this is happening? But otherwise, they just keep beating her. And even though, it's cheating and whatnot, it's hard to get behind her when she keeps losing.
Yeah.
Right. Agreed.
And it's Sonya Deville's got this weird discriminatory vibe that I don't know. I mean, they're really walking a line with it. But this thing tonight shows up with saying that Naomi shows up with main character vibes when everyone knows she's just an extra. I mean, they need to explain this. They really need to explain why Sonya has it out for Naomi at this point. Because I mean, it's really bad. The way that they're portraying.
And they hinted toward it earlier with the Karen stuff, and they were going in that direction, it seemed, but now they've, I think, kind of lost a plot in terms of a central, depth story as to why she's got a problem with Naomi.
Yeah. I don't get it, man. So let's talk about Zayn tonight. Insanity. Sami Zayn trying to out jackass Johnny Knoxville. Was going to jump a shopping cart over the ring into a Target. Sami Zayn is legit one of the best comedic actors in all of professional wrestling.
Yes, he is.
Like, you know how we say, like, one of the best compliments you can give a WWE performer these days is, they take this bad material and they make it good. They actually make it passable. Like, he takes bad material and he makes it funny. Like, he takes the material he gets and he makes it his own to where you don't even notice that it's bad material. I don't even think it was bad material. I thought it was funny that he was going to do that. And the crowd pretty much came alive for the idea of him going up a ramp in a shopping cart. I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
There was a moment there that he totally punked me. I really thought he was going for it. Like, they pushed him all the way to almost the front of it. And I'm like, Sami saying you're going to get hurt. Like, what are you doing? I thought the whole thing was gold. I hope he came up with the name because insane. I popped for it. I was previewing the show on my channel earlier, and when I read that, I was already excited for this segment because I knew that Sami Zayn was going to just make something out of this. I thought we were gonna get more Johnny Knoxville action, but Boost and Nakamura is what ended up happening here. Again, Nakamura wearing something super shiny like around his waist, which still confuses me. But tonight, I finally figured it out. You can't lose the title if you don't defend it.
Well, you were supposed to after 30 days, but I guess they just got rid of that.
Alfred, let it play out, man.
Well, let it play out. By the way, how about ravishing Rick Boogs tonight? He cut his hair. I hate how they cut his hair.
Me too. I didn't recognize him at first. It took me a second. It was a very slight second, but I didn't like it. It wasn't like Otis bad, but I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah. And I think that the Johnny Knoxville thing has made this feel fresh, right? Because the problem was we were getting too much of Boogs, Nakamura, and Sammy. And tonight with them attacking, that worked, but it was really the stunt stuff that made it so fantastic.
Yeah. And
also, I want to give them props. I'm sorry, Alfred. I just wanted to give them props for the long-term storytelling because saying he's still upset about his Intercontinental Championship being ripped away from him. And this has been a thing that he's got going on for a long time.
Yeah, there's definitely a conspiracy against him. I absolutely loved the royalty-free Jackass music that they used because they had played the actual music seconds before, and then when he introduced it, it's kind of the same music, but it's like this cheap cheesy music, and it was so funny to just watch that.
He got that Fiverr music.
Yeah, he did. He got that remix, the $5 remix.
Hey man, I got some music made on Fiverr. I wanted a version of a song that was only heard briefly on a sitcom in the 80s, my beloved It's Your Move with Jason Bateman. And I wanted this heavy metal song. So I went on Fiverr, and for like $40, somebody did a fantastic version of it. I'm like, oh, now I can actually listen to this. This is great.
I had a guy make me a song on Fiverr for my YouTube channel, and it is fire. Like, he did such a good job.
Yeah. It's shocking.
Shout out to the artists in Fiverr.
Absolutely.
I wasn't trying to like slam them.
No, I mean, we got our cover art for our other podcast. I mean, we had the idea and laid it out, but they put it together and gave us options and helped really polish it and make it great. So
yeah, I get a lot of work done with Fiverr. I get pro wrestling themes done in 8-bit like video game.
Oh, nice.
Themes to get around the copyright and stuff, and some from something better. Nice.
Yeah, no, big fan of Fiverr, who's not a sponsor of this episode. So don't go thinking like, oh man, they're really pushing Fiverr. It's like, oh no. So Sami got beaten up by Boogs and Shinsuke. We had Aaliyah tonight, but in advance of her match against Natalya. Natalya talking about world records. I thought Natalya, with softening up Aaliyah, was going to get that record of the quickest women's match. And it was shocking that they gave it to Aaliyah. And I only say it's shocking because Aaliyah like hasn't had a singles match before. And after she I guess barfed in the ring and that 3-on-3 tag that she won, I was worried that they were going to punish her for that, for her nerves. But I mean, were you surprised, Issa, that she got that win tonight and officially a Guinness World Record?
I have so many mixed feelings about this. I wasn't a fan of it. I thought that it's just like, maybe because Natalya has turned this into a gimmick, but why take such a big accomplishment of like breaking a world record and you're in the Guinness book and just kind of like made a joke out of it? I felt like it felt like Natalya's accomplishments were just turning into a gimmick and a almost comedic segment in a way. I want to see the new stars come up and I want to see them do well. Then just let them wrestle and go. I wasn't a fan. I'm sorry. It just felt like it diminished Natalya's accomplishments.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, and I do think it's a really big deal that Natalya did get in the Guinness Book of World Records. They could have done a better job of actually honoring her for that, but because she's a heel, I think this is a pretty creative way to go with this. Not only are you taking this real life thing of her being a Guinness World Record holder, which again, because they didn't officially honor her and make a serious deal about this, I'm sure there are people who don't think this is real, who don't think she's an actual Guinness Book of World Records holder. So yeah, it diminished it in a way, but I do think this is the right way to go. If they're going to have her as a heel and she's going to be arrogant about having this Guinness Book of World Record, to then have the babyface kind of embarrass her in a way that gives her a record, I think it's pretty creative, actually.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel right because she broke pretty much a similar record than what Randy Orton broke. And when Randy Orton broke that most matches on pay-per-views, they even gave him a moment. They gave him little flowers at the end of the match. But you're not doing that with Natalya. But again, they had a farting gimmick for her. So why should I be surprised that Natalya is not being taken seriously? It's just, I just think she should be just as honored as Randy Orton. It's a big deal what she accomplished, and losing to Aaliyah in 4 seconds just seemed dumb, in my opinion. Just don't even do the freaking match.
Yeah.
But I get your point, Alfred. I get your point. I just didn't like it.
No, that's actually a really good point with Randy Orton in that they did, I didn't even know Natalya was there with Randy Orton. They really talked up Randy Orton's record, his pay-per-view record, and you heard a lot about Randy Orton. And when they decided to go with Natalya, they made it a complete joke. Yeah, I wish they would have, at some point, seriously honored her, because she's a legit GOAT in terms of all the women who have ever competed for WWE. And they could have actually done the honor and then told the story of her getting too arrogant. But yeah.
Yep. So after that, after Lita got that win, Lita. This I liked. Lita talking about she's got one more run in her, interrupted by Charlotte. Lita's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Do you think, Alfred, to you first, that even if Lita doesn't win the Rumble, that they might put her in a championship match or a feud against Charlotte going into Mania?
I could see it as a television match or even as a Saudi Arabia match if they go that direction in terms of having a marquee match for what is kind of like the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. But I was pleasantly surprised with this segment because I'm like, my Pavlovian response is that, oh God, they're going to embarrass this legend. Because that's what WWE does. They usually have the younger person just embarrassed, especially when it's a babyface legend, they'll be embarrassed. But Lita not only got over on Charlotte, she laid her out. So I thought this was really cool. And that makes me think that, maybe they will have a program past the Royal Rumble.
You know what I love about the women coming back, and this might be fully biased because obviously I'm always here for girl power, but because the women retire so much earlier than some of the male superstars, when they come back and they say, I think I have one more run in me, you believe it. It doesn't feel like somebody trying to relive their golden days. No, Lita looks amazing. Look at what Trish Stratus did. I remember seeing Michelle McCool in the Rumble looking just like all of the girls that are up there. So when they come and they say that, you really believe it. You really pop for it because you think Lita could still go toe-to-toe with Charlotte Flair. You know, it doesn't feel like a legend coming back like it does in any other occasion, right? I do think that. I said, I believe that whoever eliminates Charlotte from the Rumble is going to be her WrestleMania match. And I feel like they're building this tension already in order to maybe her and Lita have so much like tension between the two of them that that's where it goes. And then I don't know about, because Alfred just brought that up, we do have a while to go for WrestleMania. So maybe it's not a WrestleMania match, but maybe it is her follow-up program. But I'm going to keep my eye on those two because I have a feeling there's going to be tension between them in the Rumble, and it might lead to a storyline further on. I can see Lita sticking around for a little bit, and I still think she still got it. She looked great tonight. I was so happy.
Yeah. Maybe they'll face off in the WrestleMania chamber. It could happen. Lita looks great. Lita looks like she's ready.
Now that you bring that point up, Issa, I can't remember the last time a woman who was retired came back and didn't look not only just as good as everybody, but maybe better than ever. The standards are so much higher for women in WWE, whereas like Roddy Piper, God love him, has come back and he's had to wear the t-shirt and just look like he should not be in the ring or whatnot. We see that a lot with the men. But with women, it's usually like tip top.
Think about that very first Women's Royal Rumble. So many legends were there that if you didn't know they were legends, you thought they were like the majority of them current in-ring competitors with WWE. These women look amazing, and there's so many of them that when they come back, I'm like, I'm dying to see Beth Phoenix compete. I cannot see them, and I think she looks even more badass right now. Like, I don't know, maybe it's a maturity factor to it, but I love to see these women come back because to me, they wrestled in an era where women's wrestling was not taken seriously. So why not bring them back now and let them show the world what they can really do? I'm all for it. Let's go.
Yeah. I love Lita. Lita has been one of my favorite wrestlers for the longest time since she debuted.
Charlotte's going to beat her, though. Just want you to know that. Charlotte's going to beat her.
And that shouldn't be the case.
She beat Trish. She's going to beat Lita, too. Charlotte's going to become the legend killer of the women's division.
Which is unfortunate. But
that's not unfortunate. That's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, she should put her aboard. For pumping up these championship title numbers for Charlotte, she's going to have to lose here and there. And why not do like a farewell run with Lita? I would never have a problem with that.
Yeah. I like to see the wrestlers. I like to see the wrestlers that I like win. It's part of the reason I watch these shows.
I like Charlotte Flair. She's the queen.
I think Charlotte is exceptionally talented. Her character is just never, granted, because do I look like the kind of guy that can relate to like a gifted natural athlete and think like, oh, that's totally my experience. I get it. You were just sort of born into it. You're better than everyone else physically.
I get your point, babe, but Charlotte has the it factor that we've spoken about many times. Like in this show, she commands the attention of a room when she comes out, and we're missing that in today's stars.
I don't know. I'm just saying if Charlotte were, in a plane with the other women's wrestlers and they crashed into the woods and had to survive for 19 months, Charlotte might be the first one to go. Charlotte might be the first one. They're like, no, we got to get rid of her first.
You really think that? You really think that?
I think so. I think because of her attitude.
I don't. I think she will be the Antler Queen.
Yeah, she'll manipulate all of them into doing what she
1,000%. 1,000%.
I don't
like
see
at
it.
first that's what they would want to do, but Charlotte she's a Flair, man. She knows her way around the locker room of how to politic, and
But
Flair
that's
was champion of
too.
those NWA days where you had to actually politic to do that. She's got that in her.
Okay, she has that in her, but we don't see that in her character on screen in WWE ever. It's just like, I'm a natural, I'm gifted, I'm the queen, come at me. Like, we don't see her pulling any crazy, dirty tricks. We don't see, like, and again, disservice to her done by creative, that her character is very flat and one note.
The first one to go will be Nikki Ash.
Damn.
I'm just saying.
Would they eat her cape too, or just the?
No, they will serve her on the cape. It will
Serve
be
her on
like
the
a,
cape.
you know, like
Oh.
yeah, it will decorate the dinner. Yeah.
And you know what will happen is they'll all be saying, why in the F did they cut Sarah Logan? She would have come so in handy in this situation.
Oh, yeah, she would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would. Yeah, she would.
Yeah, we would be eating deer jerky through the winter. It would be great.
I can totally see Rhea Ripley poisoning everybody with mushrooms. Let's move on. What was next?
I don't know. What was it? Oh, Sheamus versus Ricochet. Yes, let's move on to talk about Sheamus versus Ricochet.
Yeah.
Sheamus getting revenge at Ridge Holland being taken out of action by Ricochet.
That's great. Good for him.
Ricochet could never beat Sheamus. I feel like they've had like almost as many matches as the New Days and the Usos, except Sheamus wins them all.
He shouldn't. And this has nothing to do with, I think Ricochet is a very talented individual, but I just see Sheamus as somebody that will beat the crap out of anyone that steps up to him. You might as well just move him up in the card to something more important than this.
Then a nose. They're feuding over somebody's nose.
Yeah, it's very weird. I don't know. I can't get into it.
You have people feuding over a nose, or you have people calling each other the poo day. So
Yeah, okay,
that's
so
SmackDown for you.
So I refuse to cover this next segment with Kofi Kingston versus Madcap Moss and the promos. We're cutting it for time, as they should have tonight. This should have been cut for time. Let's talk about Roman Reigns coming out to the ring by himself.
Yes.
Asking Omaha to acknowledge. I don't think we've ever done that before. I don't think we've ever said, like, the segment was stupid. We're not covering it. There, WWE, you finally did it in protest. We finally.
You broke us. You broke us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just know that Madcap's getting pushed. That's all we need to know.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Roman Reigns. Please, that's my favorite part.
Seth. So this was the go-home segment tonight with these guys trading barbs and the Usos coming out to attack. Alfred, first, what did you think of this?
I thought this was pretty good. The fans have decided that Roman Reigns is the babyface of this feud, and it's really a heel versus heel feud, which I think hurts it because Seth Rollins, I mean, you can't get behind this guy. I feel like there is a real chance he could beat Roman Reigns, and I would actually not be very happy with that because it's not a good alternative to a title versus title match between Reigns and Lesnar. With, you know, Roman Reigns even said it during this promo where he said that Seth Rollins is a clown. And I know that's something that he's supposed to say to insult him in character, but Seth Rollins has become a clown in terms of this character wearing these wacky suits. He looked like a gentrified Michael Jackson tonight. And I cannot see this guy as a world champion at WrestleMania. I'm sorry.
Are you done, Glenn? I mean, Alfred, are you done?
I'm done. I'm done with.
Great. Let me tell you something. If he's a clown, he will be like the Joker. He's not a funny clown.
Yeah, he's like
he's an evil clown.
Yeah, he's the Jared Leto Joker. He's the Jared Leto Joker.
Oh no!
Yeah, he's the pre-Oscar Joker.
I hate you, Glenn, because he is. That's exactly what
I know.
he is. And I
should be
hate
like
that Joker so much.
He should be like the Cesar Romero Joker, you know?
Listen, first of all, I thought Roman looked great coming out by himself. I think he should always come out by himself. He commands the room. He don't need nobody around him. So, second of all, if you compare tonight's segment to Bobby versus Brock, I felt Bobby versus Brock was very one-sided to where here, even though Alfred thinks he's a clown, they did let Seth get some hits on Roman. Seth has beat Roman in every singles match that they had. I was a little sad there was no fisting. You know, Seth tried to get the fisting going, but Roman was like, no, that's a joke. Oh my God. Glenn is like, I'm going to have to edit that out.
I'm not editing anything. I got to be up early tomorrow morning to watch something when it hits Australia time. So,
All right, so I was sad about that. I love the Becky Lynch burn. I thought this segment was fun. Now, if we're just going based on what Seth Rollins looks like, I agree with you. But I thought the promo that he cut tonight on Roman Reigns is the most 2015 Seth Rollins moment that we have gotten from him in a long time. So I personally enjoyed it. I did think Roman came out on top on this one, but it was very back and forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the back and forth of it all. It's hard for me to get into it, but I will say that Rollins did have a great retort when he said that, like, yeah, you're with the Shield and now you need the bloodline to handle your business. Yeah. So he's making that parallel between how Roman always needs to be in a group to get to where he is, despite the fact that Roman was there by himself. And so that was really well done. It's just that I think they've done so much damage to this character for me in terms of him having to laugh. Right. I was hoping that Seth would just drop this whole thing and go back to being Seth Rollins, and this would be a money.
Right. Deal. And I will say, because they're both heels, maybe they're allowing them both to be smart. Props to Seth for being ready and waiting for the Usos attack. Because if you've been watching Roman Reigns, you know it's coming. Be prepared and be ahead of it. So I thought that was awesome for him.
Yeah. Rollins ranting that and laughing that he created Reigns and now he will destroy him.
Yeah. Brought you into this
How
world.
Did he create? Can he send me the formula? I would love to create a couple of them over here too.
There would be blueprints, Issa, because he's the architect. But yeah, we can.
Like whatever he says, I will try it.
What if it works? What if she like uses it and it works? And like next week, it's like, hey guys, we got a special guest on the show tonight. Or we'd probably never see Issa again. Let's be honest. If it did work,
I quit.
But the problem is they're mentioning Seth's wife and Becky's getting chants from the crowd. Like that's not. They need to watch what they do. And it's look, we stand Becky Lynch in this house 100%. But what I'm saying is, don't bring that up if the crowd's going to take Roman's side and be like, oh yeah, you're the second best in your family. Like that doesn't make Seth look good to get the crowd against him if you're trying to build him to be credible in here. Because I don't think there's a way Rollins wins unless there's interference, right? I mean, there's no scenario where, Roman is like the S tier.
He's beat him every time. What are we talking about here? Why are we acting like Seth Rollins because he dresses in amazing fashion, because he has a fashion sense? He can't beat him now. He's beat him every time without a fashion sense. But now he's just going to beat him with a little sass to him.
Yes, but since they've last faced each other, Seth has sunk and Roman has risen.
I understand what you're saying. I just feel like Seth Rollins is the only person right now outside of Brock Lesnar that I will find believable having a chance against Roman Reigns. Yes, outside of everybody in everybody in this roster.
But like Roman is double S tier and like Seth is struggling to hit
Roman is on God level. When he said he was on God level, I got pregnant.
Oh, congratulations. Your birthday and getting pregnant. How about
Thank you. Yeah, this is my 15th baby since he became Universal Champion.
My goodness. Just pumping him out. I will say this. When Roman Reigns said that he went for the fist and then he goes, that's beneath me. Roman Reigns is right. The Shield does now seem kind of beneath him based on how well this character is working. But it doesn't seem beneath Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins would be begging for a Shield reunion. I think that would completely rehabilitate his character. So I think that kind of was an indictment on Seth Rollins.
No, that's what tonight looked like. It looked like JC Chazé going, Justin, come on, buddy, let's do this. And Justin's like, that's beneath me now. I don't.
What did Seth Rollins ever do to you guys?
No, he's the JC Chazé of the Shield. I think we've established this.
Is it because are you guys jealous of his fashion? Do you wish you have his closet? Is that what's going on?
Seth Rollins is a talent. At one point in his peak, when he was like in 2014, I thought he was the best guy in the company. But I just think creatively, he's gone into a completely different direction where now that it's WrestleMania season, this is not the guy who I think should be in like a main event type role. This even at the Royal Rumble, let alone WrestleMania. And the fact that he might beat Roman Reigns, who has not lost since becoming a heel, I think is the wrong choice. I think, have you thought of a older guy to be somebody so hot?
No, the Messiah thing is what killed him.
But who would you put? Who would you put if it's not Seth and you don't have Brock as a choice? Who is there?
You've got me there. Then that's an indictment on WWE. That's WWE's fault, is that Seth Rollins is the best guy that they have for this. It's WWE's fault in not being able to create any baby faces because Seth is still playing a heel. It's not even a baby face going after Roman Reigns. They haven't gotten anybody even ready, let alone hot enough to be there. So I think because WWE has done such a bad job building baby faces, as we see week in and week out, they have to get this ice cold heel to do it. And I'm not into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But no, they don't have anyone. It's not going to be Drew. You know, this is the problem. This is where they're at right now. You know, and they let too many guys go. They let too many people go. You know,
that's weird because I think it was very short-sighted of them because I don't think they were ever thinking about the Royal Rumble and they're just axing people. And now they've got this event where you have to have 30 people participating, and it just seems like WWE's saying like, "Oh crap, we got to go back and fill this up."
You know, I mean, this might sound weird, but I think in the probably a period of 6 to 10 weeks, they could get, if they brought back Bray Wyatt or Braun Strowman, I think they could get them to where they need to be.
Wow.
But they would really have to build them. They would really, I mean, we would have to be like, they would have to get to where it was, remember the Braun Roman match with the ambulance and all that stuff? Like, it would have to be that level, you know?
Oh my God. Roman Reigns wore white boots for that match. It was awesome.
Oh, he did. I remember that.
Yeah. I'll never forget.
So that was SmackDown tonight. The Royal Rumble's on a Saturday this year, 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yes, we love Saturday pay-per-views.
Yes. Let's talk about Rampage. Adam Cole with Britt Baker, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, the Young Bucks, and Brandon Cutler.
What is this?
This sounds like a parody. I'm making fun of how we see the same people and they try and cram too much shit into an episode of Rampage. That's one team that came out to face Trent Beretta with Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, Wheeler Yuta, and Chris Statlander. Holy shit, this was a packed opening to the show for a match that was pretty good, but with Adam Cole winning. Issa, what'd you think of this?
It was a cluster F. It was too much, too many people. Like, what is going on? Why does Adam Cole have so many people with him? And I mean, I don't mind Britt Baker being on his corner, but I love Britt Baker. But I don't know. It was a little too much. It was a little too extra. It was a little too much. The match itself, Adam Cole is amazing in the ring, and I'm always going to enjoy watching him wrestle. I just wish there wasn't so many distractions on the outside keeping me from watching him wrestle.
Yeah. And this just kind of seemed like a lumberjack match in that all the people surrounding the ring, and you knew that there was going to be all the tomfoolery with interference. But I will say, as a match, this was like a pay-per-view quality. I felt like how they worked this match. I thought this was a very good match between Trent and Adam Cole. But yeah, you guys are right, especially given how this is pretty much how Dynamite started. It wasn't the wrestling, but you got the Adam Cole group, and you got the best friends group, and they're going after each other. So this seemed like a rehash of that. But I will say the match was really good.
It was good, but I would like to see the stats of like on Friday Rampage. I would like to see how much, and we did get some new and different stuff tonight, but this was a signal where honestly, if I was just flipping channels, I'd be like, is this a repeat? I mean, I feel like this is something we've seen before, and it's not against the wrestling.
There was
wrestlers.
No, I'm with you. I thought we had a lot of fun matches, fun segments, fun promos, but Rampage does not feel like must-watch television. And this is not just a jab on AEW because I don't think Raw feels like must-watch television anymore. Rampage just feels like if you miss it, it's okay. And that's not good for it, you know?
Yeah. And this is I thought that overall this is a pretty good episode of Rampage, but again, like at the end, it's like, I didn't have to see this. Like, you know,
but that's the thing. If you missed it, you missed some good matches. You missed some good in-ring action. But actually, we did have the Jamal Lethal is back, and he's gonna have a match. So we did have some storyline advancements here. Oh my God, the diss track. Okay, I'm sorry, I take it all back.
Yes,
you had to have watched Rampage, otherwise you missed that amazing Acclaim segment, which we'll get.
Excellent.
Yeah. Best wrestling oriented hip hop track since Hey Hey Hop Hop by far.
High bar.
Hey, I love Hey Hey Hop Hop Brinka. I still remember the lyrics.
It was like let me put it this way, you could put them back to back on a mixtape and they actually really go together. That was the weird part about this.
Really? Hey, how about, I just think hip hop wise, lyrically, I mean, Max Caster would have blown it out of the water. But in terms of production wise, I can see it from that standpoint.
Yeah. Sorry, my mom is texting me, which is weird.
Wow.
I know. Asking what I've
Is
been
she
up to.
okay? Is everything okay?
She's fine. She's like, and I'm like, oh, I've been busy with work and I'm doing that Yellowjackets podcast. And she's like, what's Yellowjackets? I'm like, I told you a month ago what Yellowjackets was. Why aren't you watching this show? Anyhow.
You know what? I love conversations with moms never change no matter how old we are. Like they're literally always go that way.
So but she's like, so how's that work? You're producing a podcast? Like, okay, mom, I'm gonna explain this to you later. Because she doesn't understand anything. My mom has never watched this. I've been doing this podcast over 5 years now. My mom has never watched an episode of this show.
My mom watches this. Sometimes I see her in the chat too, which I'm like, Mom, go to sleep. But it's so funny because the other day I was doing a live on my channel and she called me and she's like, oh, I saw you were live. And I'm like, yes, so why are you calling me?
Yeah. Parents, they just don't understand. So anyhow, Adam Cole beat Trent Beretta. We got Sean Spears with Wardlow versus Andrew Everett. Sean getting a very easy win. I'm looking forward to Sean Spears versus CM Punk. I mean, Sean's not going to win, but I'm looking forward to it.
Sean gave one hell of a promo. I'll say that.
Yes,
he's kind of, and he even acknowledged this in his promo. He's kind of booked as an afterthought, quote unquote, not marketable or whatnot. But I thought this was a great promo in terms of a guy who, like Glenn said, nobody's expecting him to beat CM Punk. He made this match interesting with that promo.
I love the promo, and you forget sometimes how good Sean Spears is, and give him more time in the mic if this is how he's going to speak. You know, I thought this was great, and it made him it's gonna make him look like a badass going against CM Punk, who will not lose because he's never losing. But I think Sean Spears looked great.
Yeah. Weird also because the other day I told my mom, I said, do you have that photo of me entering the pie eating contest at Knott's Berry Farm? Because I was telling a story about that in the Yellowjackets podcast and I want to show that photo. And we had this conversation like a week ago. And now she's like, what's this podcast you're doing? And I'm like, Mom, we've discussed this.
We got to have her as a guest.
Yeah. Like, she doesn't watch wrestling. I tried to get her into watching wrestling or even to being able to tolerate wrestling. She's like, I don't get it. It is what it is.
My mom told my aunt that I'm doing a podcast about plane crashes.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that's not wrong.
It's not wrong, but I try to explain the show to her. And then my aunt was like, so you guys researching plane crashes? I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, your mom says you're talking about plane crashes. And I'm like, facepalm, like, I don't have time to explain it to the both of you right now. Okay, just leave me alone.
Oh, man. So, looking forward to CM Punk versus Sean. Let's talk about the music video for the Acclaimed dissing Darby Allin thing. Two grown men and they're going through a goth phase.
Hey.
What was your favorite line, Alfred?
I have it written down here. You should put your promo cue card. Got the crowd feeling half dead like you are. And I also like the big black bat for your small white and can't say the rest of it. Prick.
Glenn, what was your favorite part?
I thought it was good. Here's the thing. I thought there were punchlines, but they didn't this is like just a very specific critique. I thought they did not punch the punchlines as hard as they do when they're doing the more freestyle live delivery.
Right, right. I agree with this.
More jokey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it could have probably used one more pass. Like this is just my taste with this. Like you get the chance to do a music video because this is the first time the Acclaim's done a music video, right? It's certainly the first.
No, they've done it. They did one before.
Okay, because I've seen the live one before, but this so they got very good targets in this one, right? So this has good potential. I think that just my taste. I think they could have stepped up and punched some of the hits up a little bit more, just to make it a little funnier and joker. But I thought it was good. But actually, I like the live one more. And I think maybe that's kind of what I'm thinking about is that Max Caster, now it's gotten him in trouble before. But I think that when he said things live, like Daniel Bryan, there's a lot of that reaction, like, holy shit, did he just say that? I didn't feel like there was as much of that tonight. I thought it was good as the song and the production, but I didn't feel like this was not hit him up, You know, this was not like, oh my God.
And you didn't have the O's. You didn't have the actual arena responding to every bar, which I think that Buckle Bomb bar would have gotten a big reaction.
You took that from me. That was my favorite line. You guys didn't ask me back what my favorite line was.
What was your favorite line?
I want you to rap it. You should rap it.
No, I'm not doing that. But because I am a sick individual with a dark sense of humor, I thought the turnbuckle bomb line was it. I was dead after that. I audibly screamed in my living room. It was great.
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask my mom how she's doing, because that'll buy me some time of not having to type as much.
What a good son.
Say, how's my brother? How's the kids? You know, how's that all going? This is what happens when we go so late on Friday. Look at this, 1 hour and 10 minutes. And we've been almost all on topic tonight. Kind of crazy. But good for the Acclaim.
Know my time zone is different, and it's like 1:34 a.m. here.
I can't believe I know. Who goes over in this feud?
Please, you already know who's going over, of course.
Unfortunately,
that's why the disses should have been meaner. That's why it should have been more vicious. Because for the Acclaimed, that I mean, they're going to wrestle a great match, but this promo is the most they're going to get out of this. Like, it's going to be the legacy that we're going to look back on from this. That's why I thought it was good, but you know, I just think this could have been an iconic like moment for them.
I think between now and that match, we get a reference to Sting losing to Triple H.
Oh, wow. Maybe about Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins should have ended your career, you know, or something.
You could say something like that. That would be really mean, but
so I know we were talking about this the other night joking, and this is 1 hour and 10 minutes in, so I think it's fair game to go back to this. So on the AEW mixtape, do you think TK is going to be like Puffy, just sort of talking and like
he's going to add this track for Big Swole?
Oh no, Alfred, stop. He tried to freestyle with the Acclaim at Garage. I remember that.
Yeah, he did. He's gonna all in the video. Is that what you're saying, Glenn? It was take that. We ain't never gonna stop.
Yes. 100%. Oh man. If that happens, like that would be like Christmas and my birthday.
Yeah. I want to see those Tony Khan ad-libs throughout the mixtape. There's no such thing as too many. Every song needs multiple Tony Khan ad-libs.
I didn't watch your new video, Alfred. I saw.
Oh my God, you're missing out.
Yeah, you got to check it out.
It's the best. It's my favorite video so far.
And it proved to be very effective. I called the authorities and saying that Jay Lethal is a missing person, and here he is back on TV all over television. So I'm glad that there was a search party for Jay Lethal.
There you go. Chris Statlander, Red Velvet, and Layla Hirsch versus Nyla Rose, Penelope Ford, and the Bunny.
Jamal Lethal.
Jamal.
They didn't give any of these women an entrance, but I thought the match was all right. But the whole match is to build toward Chris Statlander and Layla Hirsch. I think they might be pouring too much time into that.
Yeah, but how do you feel about the commentary pointing out the errors that the girls are making in the ring? Because like there was a bunch of times, not just once, that they didn't drag the opponent to the corner, and the commentary kept pointing it out, and I'm like, you know, that's an error that I could have missed if you didn't keep talking about it. It's just like, let's not, you know, Alfred talks a lot about how they need to work better at hiding their weaknesses, and these are not tag teams. They don't work together. So I would expect couple of mistakes like this from people that are not always working together, but commentary pointing it out, it doesn't help them. Just throwing that out there.
Completely agreed.
Yeah. So Nyla, Penelope, and the Bunny won the match. It was a good match, and there were good moments to the match. But I didn't feel like a huge story or investment. Commentary didn't seem very invested in it. It's unfortunate. Right. This could have been much more.
Yeah.
Right. I did expect this team to win with Penelope and the Bunny being involved in that amazing street fight. I didn't expect them to lose. I think they should be booked strong moving forward.
How about this promo with Dan Lambert, Ethan Page, and Scorpio Sky, where Scorpio Sky got to talk and Dan Lambert didn't ruin it?
Yeah. Dan Lambert, did he say anything? I don't think he got to talk at all.
No. It's what we talk.
No, and it was great.
They're listening to us.
They get these wrestlers over. Yeah, it's because you gotta like roll out Dan Lambert occasionally. He doesn't have to talk every single week, and I thought this was fine.
Yeah, and I love the fact that they're bringing up that the numbers resetting doesn't change the fact that he hasn't been pinned in so long. He deserves to be higher up in the rankings.
Yeah.
I also like that snap thing that Scorpio did. I'm gonna try it. Watch you guys. You see that?
Yeah. Scorpio is so cool and so good. He doesn't need this. He doesn't need any.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to setting him up after the TNT title because that title all of a sudden seems like.
Which one? The one that Cody has, or the one that Sami has?
Both of them. Let him take both of them.
I mean, if Scorpio kicks Dan Lambert's ass and then goes solo and has a championship run, this story will all have been worth it.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't need you, old man.
Part of that is Dan Lambert and him becoming, I think, such an effective heel that people do want to see him get beat up. And I think it might be in danger of being go away, but I don't think it's there yet. And I think if they play this right and they want to turn one of them face, that would be huge if they beat up Dan Lambert.
You know what they should do is Dan Lambert's character should start becoming like J.K. Simmons in Whiplash and just becoming like this abusive asshole trying to get the best out of his team until the team just kicks the crap out of him and then goes on their own.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. That's what it needs. Something. So Jay Lethal. We saw Jay Lethal.
Jamal. He's going to fight my nephew. He's going to fight my nephew.
Talking about the FTW title.
Yeah.
I liked Jay Lethal's promo. I thought, and he got the crowd into it. And yeah, they're fighting for an unsanctioned championship. It is a start. They're not really telling us why they're fighting, but I loved what I saw from Jay/Jamal Lethal. I love that he's not only did they find him, but he found his groove because he's doing a good job in the limited promo time he has. I want to see more of this.
I love what I saw from Taz on commentary saying he didn't give a shit about Ring of Honor. That was gold. That was gold. I can't wait to see this match. I think this match is going to be excellent. Yeah. And I'm glad that they're making a bigger deal. Like they added the FTW to Battle of the Belts, and now Jay Lethal is trying to go after it. I know that it's not officially recognized, but I do think this title they could play around with it more. It feels like it's not utilized. Why not?
It should be sanctioned if Jay Lethal wins it.
Ooh, we should have more wrestlers doing that and saying, well, you don't recognize this. I don't recognize your world heavyweight championship. Your TNT title. I don't recognize that. Yes. How do you like them apples?
Yeah. I don't even get TNT yet.
Right.
I'm still using Gravity
without it. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Fernando Perez, $1.99. Not sure if mentioned yet. Congrats, Issa, on the LLO job.
Hey, Lucha Libre Online.
Thank you, Fernando. I am the newest acquisition of Lucha Libre Online. Being bilingual pays off, ladies and gentlemen.
Hell yeah.
Took French, took Spanish, each for 2 years. Don't remember a word. Crazy how it works.
You don't know a word in Spanish?
Well, I mean, I know some Menudo lyrics, but let's not,
Of course you do.
Me gusta Bayar. But I mean, let's not, get too into it. So, no, that's awesome, though, for you, Issa.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Thank you. There's 2 videos up already over there, and yeah, I'm excited. I've been wanting to cover wrestling in Spanish for a long time, so I'm glad to get the opportunity to do that.
It's awesome. Tonight, what else did we have? Oh, the AEW World Tag Team Championship, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Christian Cage, the Stefan Urkel to Marco Stunt, defending against John Silver and Alex Reynolds with Evil Uno and Anna Jay. This match got a pretty lengthy amount of time. It's like a good 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Alfred, what'd you think of this?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, the ending was kind of sloppy, but I did very much enjoy this. I love Luchasaurus. Maybe I'm being biased toward him, but I think he's really good in that. They use him perfectly, and he does know how to do that kind of big man lucha style. And I thought he was great where he had that double team maneuver where he chokeslammed Silver and then slammed Reynolds at the same time. That looked really cool. And so they do a good job with him. And they had some pretty crowd-pleasing spots. I thought it was weird that Anna Jay was with the Dark Order and like Jungle Boy was out here. And they love in AEW referencing all these real-life relationships. And even Max Caster's referenced that in the promo. But I don't think there was any mention made of the fact that Jungle Boy dates Anna Jay in real life. And there was no spots that kind of teased that they are together. And I thought that was a missed opportunity.
I mean, they did wait a long time to reference Britt Baker and Adam Cole, so maybe we'll get there eventually, just not during this moment with it being Jurassic Express first title defense. I want it to be about them. So I kind of respect them not going for it now, but I do hope we get there eventually. I think these two teams have great chemistry. I thought this match was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The ending was kind of sloppy. Yes, I do agree with that. I didn't even know who the legal man was a couple of points in the match, but it didn't take away from the match being good. The only thing is, like, as much fun as the match was, it was so predictable. These guys just won the tag titles. It almost felt like an exhibition match. I didn't think that the Dark Order had a chance here, but it didn't make me not enjoy the match. I thought it was a fun main event, and I was glad that they gave them time. When they announced 4 matches for Dynamite, I was worried that all the matches were going to be, like, super short, but I did think that all the matches got enough time, and I like seeing Wardlow and Sean Spears squash because that's what they've been doing anyway. So I thought they paced the show well tonight.
Yeah. Well, this was a good end to the show. I think I agree with the chat. It was probably the match of the night. That or the opener. But yeah, I mean, SmackDown was just not strong tonight.
Yeah. I agree.
It was a long night of wrestling.
I think Rampage was a better show than Dynamite. It's wrestling wise. I mean, Dynamite had a couple of storyline things, but I mean, if you look at the show of Rampage, I think it was better than Dynamite because I really did not enjoy Dynamite too much this past week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So of course, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy won. They're still the champions. That was the right call. That was Rampage. That was tonight. An hour and 20 minutes later, here we are.
We did
talking about the 3 hours of wrestling that we watched. Which is funny because the other podcast Issa and I do, we spend 2 hours discussing a 1 hour show.
Yeah. But we always have fun.
I know, it's good.
You guys do a good job.
I mean,
Thanks,
but this
Alfred.
podcast, no, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, everybody check that out. So of course, you know, Issa and I are doing Yellowjackets Buzz season finale this weekend. So we're going to shut up about it for a while. But this week we did interview Rekha Sharma, who plays Jessica Roberts on the show. And we have more cast interviews with the Yellowjackets cast lined up next week. So really excited about this. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. And Alfred's going to pop in tomorrow night for the live react. We do
pop in, and I can't wait. Can't wait.
He's going to cancel his Applebee's date.
Yeah.
He's canceling his Applebee's date to come hang out with us and talk about Yellowjackets. How amazing of a friend is Alfred?
Nothing's more important than that. Not even Applebee's. You're absolutely right.
And I have to say, here's the funny thing. Now on my timeline on Twitter, I'm seeing wrestling fans that we got watching Yellowjackets.
Yeah.
So in the off season, I've got to get all these Yellowjackets fans that are following me to start watching wrestling. We're just going to merge it all together.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
I get a lot of Yellowjackets fans too that come on my live chats when I'm doing my wrestling pre-shows,
awesome.
which I think is funny because they'll start talking Yellowjackets theories and then I pop and go completely off topic like we do here.
Yes. So everybody get some rest tonight. We got a big day tomorrow. Thank you for coming.
Yes, we do.
This is NYC Demon Diva. That's Steve with the 1. Alfred's This Is Nasty. I'm at Glenn Rubenstien. Everybody text your mom tonight. Call your mom. Call a parent. Call a relative. Call a loved one.
We're not all on the West Coast. If I call my mom right now, she'll think I'm in jail or drunk. Okay? So I'm going to call her in the morning.
Or text. Whatever.
One out of the two is correct.
Yes. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast.